Welcome to Toffee TV. There's my three talking points. Everton 2, Crystal Palace 1 at Hill Dickinson Stadium today. Massive win for Everton. Really important win. I know it's early in the season, but we haven't won for a few games. And going into an international break, and having the disappointments of the Villa game and the West Ham game, certainly for me, fuming going into that we haven't picked another 4 points up. It means that we were playing, in my opinion, the toughest of the three fixtures today against the team banging form and doing brilliantly. And we've come out the other side with 3 points, and that's all that matters, really. Palace, could have been out of sight at times, but they weren't. And that's what happens, isn't it? That's what happens when you miss chances. You don't always get what you deserve. But I think the last half an hour, Everton got what they deserved because the intensity level went up. They'd stuck at it. They rode the luck, and then they went for it. They went for the win. They didn't just hang back and try to defend, which they would have done this time last year with the other fella. So we went for it, and we got our rewards, and that's what it's about. We haven't got our reward against West Ham. We didn't get our reward at Anfield. We didn't get our reward against Villa at home. But today we've got some of that little bit of fortune back, and it feels amazing. And that's what it's about. That is what it is about. Crystal Palace have experienced today what we've had in other games when we just haven't taken our chances, and we're left with, the disappointment that you just haven't quite got what you deserved. And we had to stick at it today. They're a good side, like you said, and the managers had to make changes to help it on the way, and he's done that. And the lads who've come on have changed the game, and that's all you can ask. The first thing I want to talk about is the striker situation, which is again a huge conundrum. I know a lot of Evertonians are frustrated with the forward play, with the forwards in terms of Beto and Tieno Barry, and neither of them right now are pulling up any trees. Neither of them you can make a great case that they're our number one striker and should remain. Tieno Barry starting his second Premier League game today has been hooked at half-time, which is not a good thing at all. But he is a young striker playing in a different league, and we're going to have to be patient with him. There's no point going all in on him. There's no point people getting frustrated and getting on his case and, slagging him off and not backing him because it's so early in the journey. And we haven't got a great record at doing, with younger players. We have to have that bit of patience. He wasn't amazing today. He'll have better days for Everton. There's no doubt about that. I think he's already had better performances. But, if he could have got on the end of that cross, I think James Garner might have put it in the first half. He just can't stretch enough at the far post. That would have changed it. He's a lad looking for that first goal. And a goal changes everything for centre-forwards. And at the moment, he's struggling a little bit because the intensity of it. I still think we don't help our centre-forwards. We isolate them, and he was isolated too many times today. And Everton had attacking play. Everton had 3 very attacking players on the pitch today, and yet we still managed to isolate our striker. When you looked at the other end, they did anything but isolate Mateta, and there's the difference for me. And I'd argue that if Barry was playing for Palace, he would do much better because they'd have players around him. He's got to improve his touch. His hold-up play today was the weakest I've seen. He's been quite good at the hold-up play so far and linking it up. But we have got to give him room to grow. Will he turn out to be an unbelievable striker? Who knows? He's very early on in the journey, but we've got to stick with him. Beto, on the other hand, when he came on, made things happen today. And yet, the other night against West Ham, he didn't have a good night. So, we do have to look at it and go, the lads are not playing really to their full potential, but also are the team helping them in the manner in which they should do. And I think when Alcaraz came on with Beto, we looked so different. And that last half an hour, we looked so different when we had Alcaraz flying forward, we had Idrissa Gana Gay pushing on, we had Irabunum travelling with it, and Jai getting on the ball, Grealish, overlapping players. It linked everything together and made it more difficult for Palace to cope with, which is why Everton were able to get up that intensity and able to get the winner. Got to sort that out, got to find a way to do that for both strikers. But Beto has come on and affected the game, and that's all that David Moyes will have asked him to do. Go on, get in amongst them, knock them about a little bit because you're a big lad, make it difficult for them. And he played his part in both goals. He makes a run LaCroix's looking at him, doesn't realise Irabunum's running in behind and makes a clumsy challenge. Irabunum penalty. And then Beto, of course, as the header, which Henderson makes a very good save, and we get the winner from Jack Grealish from. So he's affected the game, Beto, and Barry's got to look at what he can do. Can he do more to affect the game, when he's on the pitch and when he comes on as sub? And he's got to do that. He's got to do it. And if he does that, he'll start to get the confidence up. So yeah, we have got that little bit of a conundrum, and it mightn't right itself. We might have to be patient with both of them. And this is why, again, I would get a striker coach in and really concentrate on improving both of those forwards, because neither of them are perfect, but I do think both of them can contribute as we move forward. Second thing I want to talk about is the intensity that we have to play at, in my opinion, at home especially. I think away slightly different. You can sit back and play counter-attacking football, but I'm not sure you can do it at home. I think the fans get restless or quiet, and that's even worse. And I think you can't allow teams to come and just sit in and have a comfortable afternoon. And we saw that against Villa. We missed some good chances against Villa, but the intensity was only really there the last 25 minutes. We should have won the game comfortably against Villa. Don't get me wrong. We won't have many easier home games where we control the game, and they offer very little the way we did against Villa. West Ham, first half should have been out of sight. Second half was a bit so-so. Then they equalised, and then they had 10 minutes where they could have won it. We were hanging on a little bit, and then we wrestled that back, I think, the last 15 minutes or so, and should have won the game in the end. But we allowed them to have a bit of a comfortable night. They were a team struggling. Come to us with a new manager, and the intensity should have been all up in their face, running at them, crowd involved, putting them under pressure, making them feel like they're hanging on, and it wasn't. And today, for an hour, I mean, I'm being a bit harsh there. I think the first half especially, there was no intensity at all. I think Charlie Alcaraz and Beto gave us that intensity when they came on. I think the managers had quite a few stern words at half-time, which has kicked Everton up, got people's backs up, rightly so. And they've had to go out and run around and put tackles, and I think they were much better. I think Jake O'Brien going to centre-back calmed everything down alongside Taki there as well, because James Garner was so much better at right-back as well. And Irabunum had that energy midfield, and Alcaraz and Beto mentioned. So we have to find that intensity from the first whistle at home. We have to make it a difficult place to come. When that crowd, the noise, when we equalised and when we got the winner was deafening today. And at times the crowd were trying to get it going. Well, it's got to be like that all the way through. I accept no ground has it all the way through, but there's got to be patches in the game when it is like that, when it's intense, and therefore that energy filters onto the pitch, and the team has got to go after teams. Now that might mean having to buy some more athletic players as we go forward. Well, we will have to. We will have to. I looked at Palace today. They're so athletic. Every one of them athletic, really. Up and down, covering a lot of ground. We're laboured in our build-up play at times. We always want to go back. We're always looking to play the ball back instead of driving on. And Alcaraz gave us that when he come on and got us going again towards the end, driving at their defence. That's what it is. That's what we want to see. That gets Evertonians on the edge of the seat. That creates that sort of uncertainty for a team that hadn't lost. It would have been 20 games, I think, today, or it might be even more than that. I think it was 19 unbeaten before today. But it caused them to... It wasn't comfortable for them. They were just kicking it anywhere in the end. They were hanging on. It did feel inevitable Everton would get the winner, and they did. But if they would have been allowed to just keep popping it off nice and calmly and giving it into Wharton and getting it back and just switching it and getting moved, then they'd have run away with it. And we can't be that team because our crowd doesn't allow that team. We're not a Brentford or a Brighton, or Bournemouth or Fulham especially. You just sit there and clap. We're not that kind of crowd. We're a difficult crowd, but we know what we like and we know what we expect, and we expect intensity at home. And when we get the intensity, teams don't like it and teams struggle a little bit. And when we could do that at Goodison Park, we'd win games we had no right to win. We would equalise in games we were way out of. We could grind results out when we needed to. And we have to transfer that to Hill Dickinson. And you can look at it, and rightly so, and go, well, we've had 5 home games so far, including the cup game. And we've won 3 and drew 2. Been a really solid start at home, and it has. Of course it has, and that's excellent. And the next 3 will be tricky. You know, we've got Spurs at home, who are wide open, but I can kill you as well because they're dangerous. Got Fulham at home, who are a good footballing team, but you can destroy them because they leave big gaps. And then after that's Newcastle, and the atmosphere for that'll be electric because of Anthony Gordon. So, you know, that one will be a special game as well. And we could win all 3 of them and we could lose all 3 of them. But what we have to do is create that intensity so that they're difficult games for the opposition. And when we did it today, at times, the team and the crowd joined in. It made it difficult for Palace. It really did. We'll play better than we did today. First half was probably the worst we played at home this season. And they were excellent. So we've got to create that intensity. And final point really is Jack Grealish, because I don't think I could do this 3 talking points without talking about him. He's quite simply been brilliant since he come from City. I think his attitude's tremendous. I think he works incredibly hard. He seems like a really humble, down-to-earth lad who just loves playing football, you know. And David Moyes has obviously given him the confidence and the freedom to just play. He loves David Moyes. He's name-checked him quite a few times as the reason why he's playing for Everton this season. And he's come into our team and just makes it so much better. He buys time on the ball. He's come up with a goal today. It is fortunate, of course, but he's got himself in there and he's knowing what he's doing. He's getting a block on that clearance. Luckily for us and him, it's flew into the roof of the net. But he deserved that for his play. The persistent fouling they were doing on him. He's heavily marked all the time, but his confidence on the ball and his ability on the ball is sensational. You know, and if he shot a bit more today, I think he had 3 attempts at goal today, all on target, which is good. That's what we want to see from him. And what we need to do now, and I think as we move forward, is we need to make sure we're making the right runs off the ball for him, because he opens up so much of the pitch. And I thought about the way Crystal Palace did it, because obviously you've got a direct comparison today when you're watching them and their 2 wing-backs who fly forward, Mitchell and Munoz on the other side, just tear arsing down the outside. And their players are able to just slide things inside the full-backs, little ball round the corner, and they're in round the back and you're in real trouble. You know, Mitchell in the first half clips the outside of a post, Munoz scores a goal from a fast break. When Everton break, and we don't break fast in all fairness, and I still think we've got to get over always looking to pass the ball back, which annoys everybody. So it's got to annoy David Moyes, surely. They always look to go forward, but they go forward in the confidence that they're going to get the ball as well. And I think for Everton to go to the next level, they're going to be the 2 areas that the manager's going to have to invest in as well, a left back and a right back who bomb on, who go and do it. I think if you're playing with 2 defensive full-backs, which, I mean, one's a centre-back, who looks so much more comfortable when he went to centre-back, you know, from right back, and cut out all the danger. And the other one is a defensive left back who does a really good job man marking and a really good job from a defensive standpoint. But if you've got the players we have ahead of them, if you've got a flying winger, you're okay really on the defensive side, because you haven't got a bomb on a lot of the time, because he's the one you're trying to play it round the corner for him to go after, or he'll play a little 1-2 and he's in with his pace. We don't have that. We have 3 lads who play wide for us, all want to come inside. And they want people on the outside, and we don't have people really on the outside. So I just looked at Crystal Palace today, and I know they play a slightly different formation. They have the 3 centre-backs so they can go high. But I have seen them playing with a back 4 at times and flying on. But I was just looking today saying, look at how much it opens up the pitch when they have runners right and left, and we don't have that. So that's something I think we need to develop as we go forward. And I think if we do that, I think we can go on. I think we can be a much better team, a much better prospect. But I think that's an area that David Moyes will be looking at, definitely, because, like I say, they caused us a lot of problems. And we saw the other night, Malik Chief flying forward, causing us problems, and we don't really have that. So, but we won the game, and that's all that matters. But when you've got the likes of Jack Grealish, he's been fantastic for us since he come in. But imagine if he had a flying overlapping fullback as well that you could just play in, get round the corner. Failing that, we've got our people doing it from midfield then, and Alcaraz did that when he come on. But Grealish has been absolutely fantastic for us so far. Deserves to be in the England squad. I don't care about England, but for him, he deserves to be in. But listen, he's been tremendous. So absolutely delighted with Jack, and congratulations to him today, getting the winning goal. Right, that's it from me. Bored you long enough. Like, subscribe, check out the match reaction video as well. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks for watching. See you later.